Fox News alert, the New York Times just dropped a doozy on Graham Platner. 24 people, diaries, texts, emails, the whole works. 3 of his exes paint the same picture: volatile, reckless, demeaning to women. They say he drank heavily, cheated on all of them, even got physical. One woman wrote in her diary 10 years ago, "He's the most toxic, literally abusive man on earth who destroyed my life." Another said he hated women. And another called herself collateral damage. He thought the world was his. One ex says he could be rough, leaving her shaken and afraid. He regularly grabbed her by the shoulders, sometimes hard enough to leave marks. During one fight, she says he twisted her arm behind her back, shoved her into a bedroom, and held the door shut so she couldn't get out. Many people are calling these allegations domestic abuse or assault. For the record, Platner denies it. He called this a dark period in his life where he struggled with PTSD and drank too much. He admitted he was a far from perfect boyfriend, but called the abuse allegations false and politically motivated. Of the 3 women, one works in Republican politics, another is a registered Democrat, and the other is choosing to remain anonymous. One ex says he kept an AR-15 lying around his D.C. apartment, which, by the way, is illegal, and sharpened his axe in front of the TV. This was before Trump's D.C. crime crackdown, so maybe it was for self-defense. Speaking of self-defense, Platner fantasized about killing anyone he saw as a threat. Quote, he said this a lot: "If anybody broke in here, I would rape them, but not in a gay way." Platner's campaign did not dispute he said that. And the Nazi tattoo he swears was an innocent mistake, he knew it was a Nazi tattoo the whole time. Called it my Totenkopf and laughed about it. Said his Marine buddies decided to get it because they were a death squad, just like the Nazi guards at the concentration camps. By 2021, he dropped, in his words, any of the patriotic nonsense that made him enlist. And he was just a, quote, vegetable-growing, psychedelics-taking socialist. Still got the guns, though. Those guns weren't for gain. Platner trained Maine's Socialist Rifle Association right after the BLM riots. He wore an Antifa super soldier patch. All this comes 48 hours after Platner's emergency meeting with Senate Democrats in D.C., where they asked him, "Graham, is there anything else we need to know?" Liz Warren confronted him and said, "Is anyone going to accuse you of sexual assault?" Platner reportedly responded, "Not credibly." But he cut his trip to the Capitol short and bolted back to Maine because ex-girlfriends were talking. He started calling ex-girlfriends, telling them, "Please, talk to the Times. Tell them I'm a good guy." And some of them did, but a bunch didn't. Senators hate being lied to. Makes them look like fools. They can lie to us all the time, but don't you dare lie to them. A lot of these guys campaigned with the Oysterman. They vouched for him on the record, on camera. Even after the Nazi tattoo, the controversial comments about whites, blacks, women, Purple Heart recipients, and the sexting. And his profile, still active. The app's known as a, quote, predator's paradise, filled with minors. Now, we don't know if he was sending nudes. We don't know if the girls were underage, but there were a dozen of them. And this is right up until last year. This guy has terrible judgment. Clearly, Democrats do, too. Bernie, his main sponsor, right before this New York Times piece dropped, said this.
You are standing by him despite that. Why?
Maybe let's understand that nobody is perfect.
AOC heard Platner and got Biden brain.
Should Democrats abandon Graham Platner after these messages came out, these sexually explicit messages he sent to women?
You know, I haven't waded into that primary. I don't believe the primary has occurred yet. So I would kind of, you know, again, I don't wade in on that. I haven't waded in that race.
Yeah, AOC hasn't weighed in on the commie nipple Nazi, but big boy Fetterman certainly has.
Let me make a deal. You know, I'll tell P. Hustle, I'll wear a suit every day if he releases all those texts and messages that he's had for the dozen women.
Platner's only 4 points ahead against Susan Collins, who comes back from behind every time. Sometimes the polls have her down double digits and she comes back to win. Nipples toast. Everyone knows it. Credible allegations. He's putting his hands on women. They were scared of him, scarred for life. Guy comes off like an ogre, a brute. Now, Democrats are the party of women. This guy's not going to fly, especially with Pocahontas. They say believe all women. Well, so far there's 3. So far. We hear the Washington Post is digging deeper into Platner. There's got to be more. This should have been over with the Nazi tattoo, but it's not. One Democrat strategist asked, quote, "Are we going to see pictures of Graham Platner's penis before this is all over?" I think we almost certainly will. So why are we still doing this? How badly do the Democrats need this Senate seat? Badly. Without Maine, they can't make D.C. and Puerto Rico states and pack the court. Even the ladies on The View, and Sonny was a prosecutor. She's ready to do a deal with the devil.
Democrats have to take over the Senate. They have to take over the House. And if it takes getting behind someone like Platner, I would hold my nose and I would pull that lever and I would vote for him.
Sonny at least pretends it's a tough call. Others don't even bother.
Every election is a choice, not a marriage proposal. We're not hiring a priest. We're hiring a senator. I mean, the obsession with personal purity has become a luxury belief. And folks, if your house is on fire, you don't ask whether the firefighter has problematic DMs.
Platner isn't just Maine's mess. He's a nationwide nuisance. Democrats all over the country, they're getting asked, do you stand with the Nazi? Here's Senator Sheehan in New Hampshire. Her staff blocked the shot with a Danish. Roll it.
Do you endorse Graham Platner? Stephanie Sheehan, do you endorse the fellow Democrat Graham Platner? Do you think that his conduct is acceptable? Do you think that the voters in Maine should pick Graham Platner?
You think Democrats can last 5 months defending sexting Nazi who manhandles women? I don't. Especially the women politicians? No. And especially after what went down with Swalwell. So cut them loose and risk the seat, or hold their nose and own the creep. That's the question. Either way, they lose. The damage is done. Too many Democrats have already defended this guy. And now all their attack lines, worthless, misogynist, Nazi, racist, toxic masculinity. Good luck accusing anybody of that anymore. They're running toxic masculinity for Senate. That's how they thought they were going to win back men. They actually think most men are creeps who get Nazi tattoos and rough up their girlfriends. MAGA men. This is who Democrats think you are. This is their version of it in Maine. And how's Maine feeling about all this? Be sure to like and subscribe for all the Fox News latest on YouTube and catch full shows streaming now on Fox One.